Alright guys, it looks like we're live, and as per usual, I cannot tell time properly, so we're here at least 2 minutes late instead of an hour late like last time. But last time was more because YouTube set the wrong time, not me. Totally not my fault. I'm sticking to that no matter what anybody says. Technically speaking, we're kind of on time. 9:30 is about the time I told you guys we were going to do stuff anyway, oddly enough. Original plan was we were going to go after Non Sequitur show, but for some reason Non Sec is starting so late today that we just decided to go before. Which is, that is its own thing. Also, I have not technically... Yeah, well, if they turn us off, then there's a chance we might not come back. There's a sex joke in there, sure, I'm sure. But, and there it is. So today is a bit of a special thing. As I said in the last podcast episode, we do not have Ocean here right now. He's not available, so my co-host today is actually going to be Godless Iowan. And our guest today is Bionic Dance, and instead of our usual shtick where we have more of a serious discussion, this one's probably going to end up being a little more for fun and a little more equal time for all, as opposed to an actual focused discussion. This is more of just, this is something you can have on for Thanksgiving. I hope you guys enjoy the bit of ranting. And you know what? I did say at one point that a peanut butter episode is never going to replace a standard episode on my channel. It seems that today is the day where I've made myself a liar. But that's okay. I think it's a special kind. Let me see. Doot. Why is the desktop audio not on? Okay. Well, no, we can hear you. No, one of the issues seems to be, hold on. Let's do this.
There.
Try speaking
Hopefully
now.
People can hear me now.
Can they hear us now?
Yes.
Yeah, let's see if they can hear now. It seems that my Streamlabs is noting that there's sound coming from you guys.
So then they should be hearing it now.
Ideally, yes. There we go. Yes.
There we go.
We'll say everything is there now.
It always pulls that crap on me. Like, for some reason, it resets my microphone to really low, and I have to set it back up every time. It's really obnoxious.
I have to tell you that before he got the audio working, I told the absolute funniest joke. Bionic Dance used her phone to play a roaring applause sound.
Yeah, that's
totally
exactly what I did.
It was incredible. I can't tell it now because the timing is off.
Do not worry. We believe you.
Yes.
We have faith in what you said. You were a minister for several years. We can have faith in that. So, as I said before, this is going to be a little bit of a peanut butter-centric episode, so even though I did say this is never going to take up a main video on my channel, I also said that when I was only doing 2 videos a week, and now I'm doing 5, so whatever. So
you get what you pay for.
Pretty much. Shameless plug for my own channel. Bang for your buck. You get 5 videos a week now, so whatever.
Yeah, go support him on Patreon. You can find him at patreon.com/thegodlessiowan. I handle all of his patrons, so just send the money there. He'll get it.
Wait, if that's true, why am I one of your patrons? I'm confused.
Godless Iowan is spelled BIONICDANCE. So
yes.
That is how you spell it. Yes.
Yes,
I learned that in school.
That actually reminds me, I one time had a telemarketer call up and they said, "Hello, is Matthew there?" And I said, "My name's Sam." And they said, "We're looking for a Matthew." And I said, "Okay, I know it's spelled Matthew, but it's pronounced Sam." And they were like,
Wobbler Mangrove.
"What?" I was like, "Yeah, my name's Sam. My parents named me Sam, but they spelled it Matthew. What the fuck is your problem?"
That's like
They were like,
it's like why in the world is Sean spelled Sean? Like, wait, where did the sh sound come from? I'm so confused. Why?
it shouldn't be there. It's seen.
I guess it doesn't want to be seen with that pronunciation.
I think Sean is the past tense of Sean.
You were Sean it, and now you've seen it.
Yes, exactly.
That's horrible. So
Horribly amazing.
So with that, if anybody hasn't seen, with all of the videos that me and the Godless Iowan have made on peanut butter in the last few weeks, apparently Bionic Dance decided to show us both up.
I did. I really did. The aliens invaded the Earth from planet Skippy and showed you Peter Panoids just exactly how pathetic you truly are.
It really felt like
Interjection to the stream. I'm sorry. And you guys should not forgive me just yet. Because I owe him 6 slaps with a hammer.
Oh, yeah.
And remember, guys, during the stream, when you donate, he gets hit in the face.
Yes.
I've been hit with that hammer more times than anybody, and it's my fucking hammer.
Well, I was going to say, while she hits him with the hammer, it was a lot like if the Asylum made a movie and then Steven Spielberg was like, you know what, I can do that better. I'm going to go and do it. It was picking on two people who are far below you. I mean, come on, Bionic Dance. That was so mean. No.
Well, I was watching your peanut butter videos and I realized, I could step this up a notch.
Oh.
And it was such a difficult video to make. I've never integrated CGI and live action before. And despite
We're happy we inspired you.
Yes.
Like, I took measurements of the size of my apartment complex and everything to try to make a 3D environment. And I don't know if the field of, like, the focus or whatever, field of view on my camera was different compared to the one in the CGI environment, but I could not get anything to line up. So I had to completely fake it.
We're used to hearing women tell us that they faked it.
It looked as convincing as anything the Asylum has made, though.
I was going to say, no, I was having a absolute shit day that day. It was probably one of the worst days I have had in a long time. And I was going to bed right when I saw the video, and I was like, what the fuck is this? The peanut butter? And then I played it, and I could not stop watching it. I watched it probably 10 times over with Jen. It was so funny.
Pam, I have unfortunate news for me. We have a super chat for $2 from John saying, let the beating commence. Hashtag banana fire. I don't get the hashtag banana fire, but I do know that I'm getting beat, so
and
that's
just
a
so
thing
you
that's
know,
happening.
A special thing that's going on today is if you donate $100, Pam will stab Cirrus in the neck with a knife.
Wait, what? That is not a thing. No,
that is a thing.
I am not repeating that.
That is totally a thing. $100, Cirrus gets stabbed in the neck with a knife.
If they pay $100, you stab me in the neck with a knife. Can it at least be... Pam, can you try to find the knife that the studio light succumbed to? That would be nice. Thank you.
For just $1,000, Cirrus gets castrated on camera.
I'm going to tell the story live on camera. Yes, that's a thing that's happening. So for those who are not aware, normally I don't look quite this orange, but today...
You know what? No. For $200, I'll stick this in his nostril.
Wait, what? No.
200.
Why?
And it goes in the nose.
No.
200 and it goes in the nose.
That is sharp. No. It
For $300, she makes sure that he forgets how to do math.
For $300, she makes him forget how to do math. You mean she'd make me have a lobotomy?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
For $300, I'll shove a ruler up his asshole for all I fucking care, man.
For $300, he gets a ruler shoved up his asshole. Now that is quality entertainment, people.
So
nobody's gonna donate
So this is the guy who I call one of my good friends, and you're the person that I plan on spending the rest of my life with, and Bionic Dance is here not helping!
She's enjoying it.
I'm just waiting for the entertainment to start.
Yes.
I want to see all of this happen, and
Have you-
I don't have to do the pay-per-view.
Have you ever seen anyone snort a GameCube game? For just $500, he will powder a GameCube game and snort it.
Okay, so look. One, I'm not going to do that. This is going back here. Sonic Adventure 2 is staying solid. I have no idea where that knife is, but for everybody who wants to know the story of what happened there. So we were rewiring this whole area here because as we've set up more and more consoles and computers and screens, more and more wires have just kind of conglomerated on the ground. And Pam was rewiring while I was getting stuff cleaned. And as she's rewiring, she's taking some of the wires and tying them up and like taping them to the table. That way they don't go anywhere. Well, one of the wires happened to be black, as wires generally are.
That's racist.
And the duct tape we were using was also black. So she couldn't tell duct tape from wire. So she takes one of my knives, which is a karambit. It's a hooked knife. And she takes it and starts cutting the tape in order to position the wire somewhere else. Then she meets resistance and decides to power through and saw through whatever resistance she's feeling. Turns out the resistance was the wire to my studio light and caused enough sparks. In fact, actually, I'll show where it was. The lighting's not terribly great, but that black singe mark right there, that is where that light was. It caused enough sparks to both destroy that and also caused the knife to have a destroyed, melted portion. And as soon as she can find the knife, then I will show you guys the destroyed knife. But there was enough voltage to do some damage. If anybody follows me on Twitter, I've linked the knife on there. So needless to say. But, however, I will have another studio light coming in because one person did send me, and I wanted to shout them out real quick, did send me the funds to pick up a new studio light, which is very, very awesome. But they said that their moniker is pronounced Syncretocrat. So thank you, Syncretocrat, if you're watching. If you're not watching, then ideally in the next episode, I'll also be shouting you out there. Because they also picked up more than just the studio light, also a camera and a lavalier mic for the live action segments where I get beat in the head with hammers, because apparently that's a thing that has to happen.
So I'm seeing in the chat $349.99 for a knife fight between Cirrus and his partner.
$349.99 for a knife fight between me and Pam.
It's a rather specific amount of money.
Well, it would have been $350, but it's Black Friday.
Yeah, it's Black Friday.
Yeah, it had to go on sale. 1 penny off, Mr. Krabs special.
You know what? For Black Friday special, I think that for every dollar donated, they should get 2 hits.
For every dollar donated, they should get 2 hits as
Yes.
a Black Friday special.
Yes.
How about as a Black Friday special, right? Hear me out. Black Friday special for $400 in total over the course of this stream and the next stream. Total. I will tie Chris to his chair and force him to eat corn.
What?
Wait, you don't like corn?
I like corn.
Yes.
That is such a strange...
But boy, have you ever eaten more than a can of corn by yourself? Because I have, and I'm about to make you do the same. 400 across 2 streams.
It'll be like a machine gun coming out of your ass.
For $666, he will shave 1 eyebrow.
Oh, God.
Yes.
For $666, I will shave 1 eyebrow.
For
$777,
he will shave the eyebrow and snort it.
I love it.
Gage asks, do you ever call her Pamela Ding Dong? No, I don't.
No, because I'd stab him.
Yeah, she would. She would. She's willing to saw through a light cable. What do you think she'd do to my bones?
Yeah. So did everybody have a good Thanksgiving?
I haven't had mine yet.
I had a good Spanksgiving.
Spanksgiving.
For $10 million,
Thanks.
I would kill myself.
That raises more questions than it answers.
Well, I had an awesome Thanksgiving. I had all the food.
Are you
Truth is,
working
I
out your
kind
coma?
of didn't. All my family is elsewhere, so I just had a microwave turkey meal.
But
You
at
got
least it was
basically
turkey.
the experience.
We're gonna have corn.
Hungry, don't judge me.
You're hungry, don't judge you. Okay, that's fine. We're gonna have corn and shepherd's pie and turkey and ham and all kinds of stuff. But the turkey is still
I
cooking.
thought the Thanksgiving apologist wasn't going to allow shepherd's pie.
The Thanksgiving apologist didn't want to allow, but as it turns out, I'm the one cooking, so I can make that decision.
For
Oh,
what?
Isn't it
shepherd's pie.
like 9:45ish where you are right now? I mean, like usually, and I've always found this weird, is Thanksgiving dinner seems to happen a lot at 4 in the afternoon, and I've never understood that because it's not dinner time, and it's not lunchtime.
Look, just
What's
because
up
you
with
said
that?
shepherd's
see, our
pie,
Thanksgiving dinner is always at noon.
He's effeminate enough.
That's when we eat it at my grandma's.
Yeah,
That's
generally I've
weird.
always seen
Yeah.
it at like lunchtime here. That way you can have lunch and then you have Thanksgiving lunch and then you have leftovers for dinner.
Are you giving me that look?
Yeah, technically, if I wasn't
Oh, yeah.
on a stream, we would have gone back to my grandmother's and be eating leftovers tonight. So you kept me from my grandma. How do you feel? How do you feel, Cyrus?
How do I feel? I
Yeah.
feel like I'm going to get beat with a hammer because somebody donated $5 just to support you guys. Wish I
That
could
was
do more.
PHX Bilsey that donated $5.
For some
Jeez,
reason-
are you not even going to
So-
recognize
so-
these?
Trying to pronounce that, I can only think of like Mr. Mixel-Piddletick from Superman.
Hmm. It's funny. Like I almost never do streams on my own channel. I'm not sure why not. Maybe I should start. But where does that money that they donate actually go?
It goes into the same place where your YouTube ad revenue goes, and
Okay.
it comes in through AdSense afterwards.
I figured, but I've just never done it.
Or if you're lucky like me, you never get monetized, and you can't have that.
YouTube, please monetize the Godless Iowan, whose
See,
name is also.
the thing is, I
insert
actually
docs
got
here.
like grandfathered in when Google took over monetization because I started making videos when YouTube was still not owned by them.
Yeah. It's so weird because I met the threshold at the exact same time, or maybe like a week later than Cyrus,
Yeah, you met just a little after me, and
and just a little after Mr. Atheist as well. They both got their monetization. I haven't yet. They hate me. That's okay.
Well,
yeah, I don't get it. I really don't
I
get
thought
it.
we all hated you.
That's sad. That is sad.
I
Also,
love you guys.
Cajun Crustacean donated $2 saying more concussions.
Yeah, boy.
Oh my god, what? I have a question. If they said more concussions, why would you hit me and not the head?
Oh, you're right.
That wasn't an invitation!
That was 4 for you,
Ugh.
Cajun.
I think Pam
So-
should say bonk when she hits Cyrus.
So, one thing I am really curious about is how the whole peanut butter thing started. Like, how did you guys decide to do that?
That's actually me. I was on YouTube one day watching some videos, and I think I might have been watching a Cyrus video. And before the video, a political ad popped up, and it was probably the 4 millionth political ad I've seen. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a political ad, and I'm going to make it about this obscure reference that Cyrus made.
Are you
on a
ignoring
stream.
Ging? Are you ignoring Ging's involvement in this?
Well, yeah, Ging did make that the image after the stream, but I didn't really think anything was going to come from it. But then I just got a idea to make a political ad against Cyrus and his hatred of Peter Pan peanut butter, and that's where it
that
started.
part's genuine.
Yeah, he hates Peter Pan. peanut
It's almost genuine. So we had a stream, and I mentioned that I didn't like Peter Pan because it has more oil on the top than other peanut butters usually. But it's not because it's like an all-natural peanut butter. They have an all-natural one, which oddly enough has less oil on the top. It's weird. It's like Peter Pan exists in this weird backwards vacuum where things are not the way they should be. So I'm not a huge fan of the taste, but it just came up in conversation. Godless Iowan was like, well, that's actually my favorite kind of peanut butter, which it turns out was a lie, as he let us know on the Geek Room. But after that, Ging made a Civil War meme out of it, where Cyrus hates Peter Pan, Godless Iowan loves Peter Pan, Captain America Civil War. And then he made his political ad there. So like it did come from a place of legitimacy, just a legitimate conversation. I really don't like this peanut butter. I don't have a massive hatred for it, but it is one of my least favorite peanut butters. ABC is also up there with peanut butters I don't fucking like.
And so I did the video. It was fun. Cyrus was like, "Oh, I've got this," and he made his first one, and then it just grew from there.
Yeah.
So I've actually been part of a couple of like sort of collaboration where it's not on one person's channel, but it's on a lot of people's channels where it's like this whole big conspiracy thing. Unfortunately, the big one that I was in did not go very well. This was years and years ago.
That was the one with you and Dark Matter, wasn't it?
Yeah. And honestly, like a lot of people wanted me to apologize for taking part in it. And I was like, I really wish it had worked. I find it hard to apologize for the sentiment. I'm sorry it didn't actually have the effect it should have had. And people didn't really take kindly to that.
Yeah.
They wanted an abject apology, like to see me bow and scrape. And I was like, no, I don't think I'm going to humiliate myself for your entertainment.
Especially when, like, you didn't offend any of the other YouTubers involved because they were all the YouTubers involved. Like, who are you apologizing to? The audience? Don't they...
Apparently.
It's weird to me considering that any of our audiences should know, and it should be obvious, at the end of the day, we're all entertainers. That's what we do. We do tackle a few more harder-hitting topics than other entertainers do sometimes because that's the nature of like the atheist and skeptic YouTube community. But we're still entertainers. So if we do something solely for if we play something up for the purpose of entertainment, we are playing it up for the purpose of entertainment. Like, there's very few times where I'm actually hammering my head into a wall because of something stupid somebody said, but my avatar has nonetheless slammed his head into the wall of a video. Not something that I've probably actually done all the time, but it is played up because we do want to make sure that, hey, we're getting a message across, but we also want you guys to laugh. We want you guys to be entertained.
See, okay, someone here who is this, Brian Stevens, is saying $9,999, and I apologize in this stream. You know what? You give me that much cash, I will totally do it. Seriously.
Yes, it will totally be genuine.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And YouTube will be very happy as well because they take 1/3 of all super chats.
Oh, there you go.
They'll take a clean 3,000 off that.
I'm not getting this off of this super chat. That goes to you. I will give you my PayPal.
Yeah, if that happens, then I'll do that. That's what we did with when I had the stream with RJ Downer and we were getting him equipment. We just had the super chats enabled because it was a matter of convenience. And then as the super chat money came in, I just went ahead and ordered all of his equipment and mailed it to him. So I mean, we can do that. That's fine.
And to point out something with Cyrus is when we made the peanut butter videos, they never took the place of one of our regular uploads. So they were just something extra and something funny. Now, I did not get any hate for it. Cyrus, on the other hand, it was pretty funny that he got some people that were actually upset with him over just a silly, funny peanut butter video.
That's crazy.
Yeah, people were like, no, we don't want to see peanut butter videos. Like, there are a few people that were like, look, we get it. You got to do 2 of these. It was funny then, but, like, please don't do a 3rd one. Nobody wants to see this. It's just like, at the time, I was doing uploads on Mondays and Thursdays, and I'm like, did this episode come out on Monday? No. Did it come out on Thursday? No. So it didn't come out in place of any upload that you guys would have normally got. Granted, I am trying to take this more seriously and take this more as a job than an actual, just side thing, so I am uploading daily now. But even then, at that point, if I do make another peanut butter video, you'll get 2 videos that day. You'll get my standard upload and the peanut butter one, because I'm at least going to stick by that outside of this, which is a Thanksgiving stream, this is a special, this is a conversation that centers around it, but it's not a full-on, like, animated peanut butter video. Like, with this being the exception to the rule, I'm not going to use a peanut butter video to replace any video there, so at the very least, you're getting extra stuff.
didn't go that way because I did have a few people, and not nearly enough of you, I'm not flattered by that, asking me why I hadn't put out a video recently. And that's because the peanut butter video I made took me 2 frickin' weeks. Okay.
I
And
saw the
so,
early. You sent me the early like the early stuff you were building into it.
yeah. And like, I don't know. I mean, I had a lot of fun making it, but at the same time, it was really, really tiring
Yeah.
because after a while,
Oh
I was
yeah.
like, okay, there was this one alien near the end that people said looked like it was twerking. Now, granted, I can see why they thought it looked like that. But the truth is that I was so tired and just wanted the video to be done that I didn't do what I intended, which was sort of like a cat getting ready to pounce and then pouncing.
And
And I just
instead, you
could
just got
not
a
get it to
twerking
look
alien.
right. So I said, fuck it, it won't pounce. And I didn't really think it through that this is what the alien was going to look like, was like it was
I
twerking.
I
So,
think it came out better because
yeah.
twerking
Now-
alien. I thought that was intentional. That
Now I can
No.
take that alien and I can mix some really like pseudo pornographic music over it and just have it.
Yeah.
I'm probably
So,
gonna
I
do
mean,
that.
like I say, it took a really, really long time to make. And if you guys really are going to try to top me, I'm curious what you're going to do. I mean,
So-
keep it a surprise. Keep it a surprise, but I'm just really eager to see it.
I will be honest. I want to top it, but as I do not know how to CG animate, and I also don't have the time, because if I'm going to be spending anywhere between 5 and 10 hours making each of my edited videos, it's going to be very hard for me to find time to actually like do any type of massive animation. But I've got some ideas, but I don't know if they'll actually top it.
I considered, but I checked it off that this is not what I'm going to do. I considered making a recreation of the Peanut Butter Girl video, if you know what I'm talking about.
Are you talking about the one where her dog did things?
No,
That's
not that
funny.
one. Jesus Christ, Cyrus. No, there's just a peanut butter video where this girl takes peanut butter. She's wearing like a bikini and she starts smearing peanut butter all over her face or all over her body, talking about the texture and the color and how she likes it. And I was like, that would be really funny, but I'm pretty sure that's too far.
I don't need to see you doing that, especially if you've got a lot of like chest foliage. I don't need to see you smearing peanut butter on you.
Oh no, there's like no chest. I'm like a prepubescent boy.
He really is. I've
On
seen
my
the Godless
chest.
Iowan without a shirt on.
Yes.
Make of
There's
that
like
what you will.
no hair. Like I've got some sprigs here. Like it looks like maybe there was a forest or something starting to form, but everywhere else is just they completely clear cut it.
You were evolving, and then you stopped halfway through, proving Kent Hovind right.
They clear cut it to form houses and structures in my ass.
Oh,
Because I've
kitty.
got a decent amount of ass hair. I'm just
This is how terror has grown.
that cat is a lot bigger. 3 weeks. Wow.
Yeah, 3 weeks. 3 weeks ago, we were at the Godless Iowan's house with this kitten. This kitten is much bigger now.
I'm guessing they're not bottle fed anymore.
No, they just eat alongside the adults now.
Yep.
She's also very rambunctious. She doesn't like being held down for any long periods of time, but if you're laying down, she'll sleep on you.
See, that is one thing Columbia doesn't do that disappoints me is like if I'm on the couch, she will totally sit on me. If I'm in bed, she will only lie next to me. And I don't know why, but I miss having a cat fall asleep on me while I'm falling asleep.
Yeah, I think the kittens will generally try to sleep on you more often than the adult cats, just because the kittens, they have this thing where they have to hear their mother's heartbeat. It comforts them. So they'll generally sleep where they can hear your pulse, so they know you're still there. They know you're still there with them. As they grow older, though, they get used to the fact that you're a mainstay in their life. They don't need it as much, so they don't go for comfort as much. That said, though, they'll lay all on top of each other, and
Wow.
they're fine doing that.
That was another thing. I mean, I don't know if you folks remember when I had another cat named Ivan, and he was such an attention whore. And like if Columbia was on my lap, he'd come up and shove her off so he could have my lap. And that's actually why I kind of brought him back to the Humane Society, because I was like, I'm losing connection with the cat I've had longer, and I don't like it. They thanked me for it. They said, now we know more about his personality. We can make sure he goes to like a home where he can be the only cat. So it worked out, but I kind of miss him.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have been able to do the same thing. I generally, when I get attached to an animal, I don't want to let them go, and I'll do everything in my power to like compromise with the other animals involved. Like my our the cat that I've had the longest, Gigi, as we've got the cats that we have now, as we've had the rescues and everything else. Yes, from Kiki's delivery service. Um, but as we've had Gigi, Gigi's grown more and more like an emotional support animal the older she gets. So I can't find myself not spending time like exclusively with that cat, even when we had other cats come in, because like she's the one that follows me around the house, makes sure wherever I am she is, and if I don't feel well in a certain day, she just doesn't leave my side, and she's been like that for the last 5 years.
Well, I actually had a friend of mine who had the legal authority to do it, declare Columbia an emotional support animal, even though she's kind of not really, just so I could take her on the plane with me when I moved to San Diego.
Hmm.
That's
So
cool.
that worked
Instead
out.
of having to have her in like the luggage area.
Yeah.
This is completely unrelated to cats, but in the chat, someone mentioned Nutella and peanut butter sandwiches. Kick it up a notch and add marshmallow fluff. Have a peanut butter, marshmallow fluff, and Nutella. You'll thank me, and you'll probably die soon afterwards, but it will be worth it. It will shorten your life, but it's one of those things that's worth it.
You know,
This
I have
is
to
our
admit,
little
like
ball
every
of
now and then I do
anxiety. As
feel
you
the
can
need to
see,
go
her
get
name
some
is
peanut
Nymphia,
butter
and I
and
put
like,
that down.
well, maybe not Wonder Bread, but
Baby.
something like it, just
There
because
we go.
I want
Give
that
her a little
experience. But you know
camera.
what's weird is I've never liked jelly.
I
And
don't like jelly.
That's the
I think
first
it's
time
because
she has
it's
ever
so
been on stream.
cloying and the texture's all slimy and I don't like it.
Yeah,
I,
I do
I like
not like peanut butter and jelly. Oh,
I like jelly. I'm a fan of jelly. Also, that was our cat Nymphia, who's Gigi's daughter. I think that's the first time we've actually managed to get her on camera finally. She doesn't like being held, and she doesn't like people.
so someone should tweet out, no context at all. Surus, I'm a fan of jelly.
No context tweets are kind of the thing that you do on all of your
They're
streams.
amazing. I love them. The other day, I had one on there that I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was something like, "We need to kill all the children."
That is the best kind of no context tweets.
Yes.
Um,
So, but yes, peanut butter, Nutella, and marshmallow fluff. Toast the bread.
It has been such a long time since I've had marshmallow fluff, and that's not because I don't like it. I keep forgetting to even try to do it.
Yes, you forget that it's there.
Maybe after this, I mean, well, actually, it's only 7. It's not that late. I might go out to the supermarket and get some because, well, now I want some and it's all your fault and I hate you.
You need it.
well,
You,
it's
you
okay.
can't hate me. You will
I
will
can.
enjoy it.
I can. You like the wrong peanut butter. It's very
You
easy
know
for you
you
to do
don't
so.
hate me, Thuris.
Well, I have to admit, like, probably my favorite peanut butter is Jif, but that's only because they've discontinued JPEG.
Ah,
Womp 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 womp.
just so you're
Oh, come
aware.
on. You know you love it. You
But
know
the
you
peanut
love
butter
it.
is pronounced GIF now, thanks to you.
No, it is so not.
Oh, it is.
Damn it. Retinal
Okay.
Cosmos was like, what's the difference between jelly and jam? And I was just like, I took him seriously and said, seeds, really? And he goes, no, I can't jelly my dick down your throat. I'm going to hell. Well,
Oh,
don't
that
worry.
is a thing
You
to do.
can with a powerful enough blender.
What?
I actually don't know, like not talking about the other way to put it. I don't know what the difference is between jelly and jam. I mean, maybe it's like jam has seeds and jelly doesn't. I don't know.
So
So
jelly is just juice. Jam is
is the entire fruit mushed down into a
yes,
paste,
the entire
basically.
fruit with the juice. And preserves is the entire fruit minus the juice.
I see. That's just weird.
Yes.
I don't know. I'd rather eat real fruit that's not been mushed in any way. Like, I mean, okay, for example, love grapes, but raisins are disgusting.
They are. Moondrop grapes. Have you had those?
I've never heard of those.
Oh my, they're grapes. Now each of the grapes looks kind of like a tiny penis, but they are about that big, and they are the sweetest thing you will ever taste. They are
Wait a minute,
amazing.
that sounds really familiar, actually. Now that I never knew the name, but that description sounds
Yes, they're fantastic.
okay.
I haven't had those before, and I'm generally not a huge grapes person. I'm one of the weird people that prefers raisins to grapes.
Ew, I'm
Which
not
is
allowed
strange.
to know you anymore.
You filthy bastardist monster.
Okay, now I know what my next video is going to be about.
What the hell is wrong
Gonna
with
be about
Surratt?
Cyrus prefers raisins to grapes. Seems like we need to just destroy him, cancel his channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, dislike this video, people. Ugh. That's just disgusting.
Clade Starfish says unsubbing now. Oh my god. I mean, to be fair, the problem with me is that when it comes to fruits, I generally prefer like apples. Like apples, sometimes bananas. Obviously there's a penis joke in there somewhere, I know. There's also a joke in there about you are what you eat, which would make me a fruit at this point. But
yeah, I mean, I was going to say when it comes to fruits, I actually prefer dikes.
I mean, I hear that dikes are really good at holding back moisture.
Well, also, I mean, along the same lines, the hardest part of a vegetable to eat
It's the wheelchair.
Yes. I love that joke. I love that joke so much.
Do you know why sex in a nursing home is so easy? Because they come pre-wet.
Okay. Sure.
I don't know how to feel about that.
You know what the worst part about oral sex with an elderly woman? Depends.
Oh! Oh my gosh, you are a bad, bad man.
See, that one was actually funny.
Yes, I messed up the other one.
Yeah, you'll probably also mess up some of the elderly people from the way it sounded.
Do you think elderly people are watching your video?
This video will not it will not pass monetization.
Not even slightly.
No. Thank you.
Makes me want to start saying some really horrible 4-letter words now.
Cyrus is a...
And the Godless Iowan has muted himself. Good night, everybody. If not for So, John says, if not for Bionic Dance, I probably wouldn't have stuck with watching you this long. Well, thank you.
Well, that is because I'm awesome.
I now have people saying they're elderly. I was joking. I love you, raisins.
Iowan, why? Iowan is a horrible person, confirmed. This all stems from his love of Peter Pan peanut butter. Had it not been for the Peter Pan...
You're dried out, you don't taste as good, but Cyrus still loves you.
Yeah, see, I really think that we need to skip all these jokes.
I will in a jiff.
Oh.
So, there is one thing that I did want to bring up in this stream that is not peanut butter related, but when you saw the video that was done on Master Apologist, and Bionic Dance, have you had a chance to see that video yet?
On your channel?
Yes.
I must have, but I don't remember.
Hey, before we go into Master Apologist, I just want to say that he described my journey from a religious person to an atheist perfectly. I went to a deli one day. I asked for a ham sandwich. They didn't have They didn't have ham. And I was like, oh, fuck it. God doesn't exist. He wouldn't allow this to happen.
Here we are.
Yeah.
So for those who are not aware, tiny bit of backstory. Best way to figure out what this guy's made of is probably to watch Godless Cranium's video, where he went over what Josh and Andrew, Josh being Master Apologist, and they use their real names on their Twitter account, so that's on them. But they they did this video with S.J. Thomason where they had a mock debate where S.J. presented what she considered some of the better atheist questions. And at the very least, she did present the questions well. She didn't follow up on any of it, but she presented the good questions at least. And in the mock debate, you can see them doing apologetics for like, well, if you're a parent, you would want your child burning in hell because you knew that they would deserve it. And I'm like, wait, what? That's a thing you're saying? Okay. But anyway, I would watch Godless Cranium's video for that. But I did a video on Master Apologist right before that, where I went through his Twitter account and basically did what Cosmic Skeptic did with Ken Ham's Twitter account, and just pulled a bunch of his tweets and said, we're just going to respond to the individual tweets, because this guy's a goldmine of, like, comedy and stupid. After making that video, the first thing he did was respond by saying, would you like to do a 2v2 debate with me and Andrew? Which, he'd been challenging people to 2v2 debates, and I pointed out that, like, when he tried to challenge Ocean, who's my co-host, he blocked Ocean. Well, Ocean, he challenged him to a 2v2, and Ocean said, actually, let's do it 1 versus 1 and on the Non Sequitur show. And he blocked him for that, apparently, for some reason. And then Shannon Q is now blocked by him as well, even though they have a debate scheduled where she's going to go 1 versus 2 in December. So it's weird to me that this person is just, like, blocking people who disagree with him, but he says things like, atheists are only good at playing video games until 3 a.m. and then flattening out on a cocaine binge. Like, you say stupid stuff like that on the internet, people are going to say things. People are going to do things. And specifically in this community, people are going to say things about you.
I don't remember if it was you. Did you cover the one where he said, oh, these atheists are asleep in bed at 1 a.m. when I'm up studying theology?
I didn't take that specific tweet, but I do have, he's recently put his Twitter to, private, so nobody can see his tweets, which, if you want to set your Twitter to private, that's fine, but if you also want to do this thing where you, like, publicly shame people and then say that they're in echo chambers and safe spaces, that's a really funny way of going about that, by creating your own echo chamber and safe space.
Well, it's kind of like I did that video recently about that Andy Bannister guy and how he lives in his echo chamber because he doesn't allow any comments. He doesn't respond to any. And and you bring up debates like that where he challenged his friend to a debate where he would argue Andy would argue the atheist position and his friend would argue the theist position, even though that's reverse. And the guy that he challenged to that debate found my video and commented on it. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, it's something that
was the word you were looking for. He is 400-0.
Yes, he has had over 400 debates and he's won all of them according to himself, but he also won't debate girls according to himself as well. He said that to Shannon. He said, I don't debate girls. And when I guess he decided that he would debate her, he then said, get in line and beg. Then I want you to get in line and pray. I'm like, dude.
Hey.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of his tweets, I have a bunch of his tweets because I originally was going to make the video longer, but I figured that it was painful enough, so I cut it down to 10 minutes. So I've got more tweets. I've got another video on him coming because I think it's the last I'm going to be able to make on him because I have no access to his tweets anymore. But if the guy wants to be a dick, which is what he's doing, then sorry, I'm going to make a video on you. If I'll do it for Pastor Steven Anderson, I'll do it to you. Don't be a dick on the internet. That's basically what this boils down to. But one of his tweets, this is my favorite tweet because it has so much sexual tension in it. I want to look in your eyes when we debate. I want you to beg.
Yeah, that was gross.
That is the amount of pure sexual tension in that tweet is just.
I want you to smear peanut butter.
I want you to smear peanut butter over me as we debate.
Yeah.
I want you to lick it off when you lose.
Oh,
Wow.
It's just, it's upsetting. And then he's got this next tweet. Should atheists have the right to vote?
we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, did he give any rational, well, not rational, but did he try to reason why atheists shouldn't have the right to vote?
The fact that you immediately went to the purpose of his question is to say that atheists shouldn't is why a day later he put in a clarification saying, I believe atheists have the right to vote, just clarifying.
Then why would he ask the question?
Exactly. Exactly.
He's just one of these people that posts something on Twitter that is inflammatory because he's an asshole.
I think there's another A word you're looking for. Attention whore.
Attention whore.
Well, there is that. But I mean, the thing is, when I really think about it, we post videos on YouTube. We're here right now. Isn't everyone on YouTube an attention whore, really?
Wait, people are watching this?
Well, 33 apparently.
So I do.
I was not told there would be an audience.
You were not told there was going to be an audience?
Oh, this is fucked, Cirrus.
I apologize, Iowan. There's an audience here. They're watching.
I could have been naked if I knew there was an audience.
You're probably naked from the waist down.
Pretty much.
Actually, that's one thing I wonder about is, like, I play VR a fair bit, and I have to wonder, like, is anybody I'm playing against naked, and there's no way for me to know?
There's no way for me to know that, but there's also no way for me to know when I'm just playing an MMO or, like, literally any online game, because most of my gaming is online. Most of these people probably are in their underpants.
Yeah.
Some of them could be masturbating during the course of the game.
But it's a little creepier, I think, if you're doing it in VR.
True. There's one thing in VR. So I play VR chat. Actually, the guy who built my banner for my channel, I met over VR chat. So there are actually useful friendships you can make in VR video games. But one of the neatest things is that you can tell what somebody's doing with their hands sometimes. So, like, you can always tell when somebody's taking off their headset because you see the head tilt down and just the hands come up and move, and it's like, it looks like they're miming in the game, but you know that they're just taking off their headset.
So
one thing that's funny is, like, if they drop their touch controllers, because I'm on Oculus, not that
and
I
the
don't
hands like spaz.
Yes. They start doing this weird, like, it looks like me if I'm having a bad seizure. Right?
So,
and I mean, I don't know. I can't do Vive with those weird spatula controllers. But anyway, so yeah.
So by what Cirrus just said, you would know if they were masturbating in VR.
Well, no, not necessarily.
They can hold both controllers with one hand and then just like wank it. Which, don't get me wrong, there's some fairly lewd character models in VR chat. I'm sure somebody's done it.
Well, there was
if we build it, they will come.
Like there's this online, like, virtual reality poker game I play. You know, it looks like you're sitting at the actual table and stuff. But the thing is, when you pick up your cards, you're doing it in sort of this sort of way, right? And then you can point with your other finger, and I think you see where I'm going with this.
you just like, I'm gonna pick up my card, but first.
Yeah.
That is one thing that, like, it's one of the few things that I don't like about VR. So, like, I have a computer that can handle a VR headset now, but I don't own one because they're expensive and I can't afford one. And I'm not about to put one of them on my Amazon wish list because, like, expensive stuff, when I throw that on the Amazon wish list, is almost always stuff that the channel needs. Speaking of which, one of the things that one of my subscribers picked up for me, the one that I mentioned earlier, picked up a 4K camera for me. So I'm going to have to shoot some video with that. So, Iowan, the next time that we're there, we'll actually have some decent camera equipment to film with.
I don't think our acting skills will be any better.
Well, yours might not be.
Oh, yeah, you have acting. Oh, you know what? Oh, that one is real.
Now that's actually one thing is one of my projects, one of my animated projects is a fairly involved story, and I'm gonna need to recruit some voice actors. Now, what I'm curious about is if anybody can actually act. Like it's acting is different from making a YouTube video.
Yes.
And I don't know if anyone I know can actually act. Now I have like something like 3,000 Facebook friends. I'm sure there's some actors. In fact, there's one person I know, just flat out know is an actor because you know the Brady Bunch and how that show apparently went downhill after one of the characters was replaced by Cousin Oliver.
Mhm.
Well, one of my Facebook friends is Cousin Oliver, the guy who played him, and he's been
Nice.
in a lot of animated stuff. I don't know if he's going to say yes to being in like just an animation for YouTube. But if I start asking people for actors, who knows? So we'll have
The
to
only thing
see.
that's going to suck is that you're going to end up getting inundated with a lot of people saying I want to be in your video, and then you'll listen to a voice sample of what they say, and you'll have to say no to a lot of people because
Yeah.
there are like
Well,
like
that's the problem with the internet is you can be very specific about something you want and nobody will give you what you're asking for. They're like, "Oh, you want to find a metal band from the 80s that's sort of like Def Leppard and AC/DC? Well, here's my favorite goth metal band from the 90s." And I'm like, "Seriously, dude? Seriously?" So if I say I just want people who actually have talented acting, it's not going to work out.
because everybody thinks that they have talent with acting. Everybody. I'm guessing the turkey's already done.
You continue. I got big sides.
Gotcha. Fair enough. So Pam's gonna take over, making some of my sides since I am screaming right now, which is good. But yeah, the problem with acting, voice acting, or really anything is everybody thinks they can emote, everybody thinks that they can act, everybody thinks that they can present, and that's not exactly the case. It's also like with people with singing. Everybody thinks they can sing until they listen to themselves sing and realize that they may or may not be able to. Like, I used to think I could sing for years. I now know I can't. Because one of my exes was in chorus and she was pointing out that I wasn't actually vibrating my vocal cords in a way that made notes sound good. It made them all sound flat, which...
I have always hated it when people's voices warble too much. I'm like, dude, just hit a note.
But
it always
what's
sounds
wrong
to me like
with that?
yeah. It always sounds to me like they're faking it, like they can't hit the right note, so they're gonna go back and forth between two notes that are really close to each other to fake it and not let people know that they can't actually do it. Now, I actually have an unlisted video of me doing karaoke, and the song isn't bad. I think I actually sound good doing it. The problem is I have such a limited range that if a song is too far out of it, I start to get all squeaky or something, and it's not good. So I know my limitations, but when I'm within that range, I'm not bad.
We do have a few questions from the live chat that are not 100% linked to the conversation we're having. But I will say, as far as vocal range, apparently I can manage a few decent voices. Like the Barney the dinosaur voice that was used for the Master Apologist video was me, because I don't know why I decided that was the voice I wanted to use. But we do have John Veldifer. I'm imagining that's the correct way to pronounce that. I'm probably very wrong. There's not an L there. Veldifer. I'm still pronouncing that wrong, I'm sure.
Pronounced throat wobbler mangrove.
Oh, God. They said Bionic Dance, Surus. Apparently they didn't message you, Godless Iowan, so I apologize. But what kind of camera at a reasonable price would you recommend for somebody who's looking to start their own YouTube channel? Logitech C920.
I'm not sure what mine is model number, but it is a Logitech as well. It's a very simple, like just basic webcam, and I think it looks decent enough.
Yeah, and my answer would be right there for not including me in that question. No, I have a Logitech C920 just like Cirrus.
Well, I actually don't have a C920. I have a C270. It's a 720p. It's basically just a weaker model of the C920.
Where the hell is it? I have
Um,
like a camera that one of my subscribers sent to me years ago, and like I didn't ask for it. They just randomly sent it to me. And the problem is that it's actually kind of garbagey. Like the format that it saves the videos in is not clean. Like if I put it on my PC, it looks all like artifacted and stuff. Like if you remember hell the peanut butter video, the people who were running away in terror,
the
I
artifacting that was in there, the individual like squares of mesh.
it I'm not sure what you mean by that. No, it was just very not pixelated, but it was gross. The colors came out kind of flat. That was with that camera, and I should have shot it with my cell phone because the cell phone's quality is so much better. And I
Yeah.
actually feel really bad that they sent the camera to me because it was something crazy like 800,000 bucks. And I was like, I can't use this. I'm sorry. I don't know.
That is
Yeah,
one of the
that's, I
things
mean,
that's
that's a good example. More expensive does not necessarily mean better.
Yeah.
no, it doesn't. It's very very weird to me that so the camera quality on the phones is obviously not amazing, but it is generally as close to HD as you can manage with something that's paper almost paper thin. Like me and Iowan have the same phone, right? For the most part, yours is just like 1 year model upgraded over mine, and they're like that. Like
Yeah.
they're a couple of credit cards stacked on top of one another thin, but the quality from these beats out a lot of your higher end cameras, which is awkward. That shouldn't be the case, but that no less is the case
Yeah.
where we are.
Well, I mean, this phone is actually that thin. It's just in a case that, like, because my last phone dropped, like, it squirted out of my pocket when I sat down, and the screen shattered. And I'm like, fuck that. So I got this, like, mega protective case where that's not gonna happen again. So, yeah.
That's probably one of the other things that I actually really like about the Moto models. They and the only reason Iowan has one is I convinced him to get it because I was
Yeah,
like,
and
they're cool.
I'd kind of like to touch on Kamal 1994's
Yes, he
question.
he recently got his question about he's been trying to get in contact with his brother after a hurricane.
Yeah, and it sounds like his family has kind of ostracized him after he came out as an atheist. And so, like, my best advice there, remain open to your family reaching out to you and getting back in contact with you. But one of the best things you can do is form your own family.
Wait, I, I thought you said that he was trying to get in touch with his brother after some sort of
he's
natural
he's
disaster.
he's worried about his brother right now, and he's trying to contact him, but they won't accept his calls because he came out as an atheist.
Hmm.
And so on that, I would just, if you're really worried about your brother, you can always contact like the local authorities, and they could get in contact with him. But yeah, a lot of people need to basically start up their own family after coming out as an atheist. It can be really rough. Like Surist is like a brother to me.
You have very poor taste.
A very small, angry, hobbitish brother, but he's like a brother to me. And I have a lot of friends that I've formed over the last year that are closer to me now than my family. So it can be rough if your family was really religious. It can be really rough when you come out as an atheist.
So that's one thing, and I've mentioned this before, is I actually feel weirdly disconnected from the rest of the online atheist community because I never had religion forced on me. And so I don't have that like coming out and like going from religious to atheist like story. I don't have that. Plus the religious side of my family, because I have some Sicilian Catholics on my family, on my dad's side, were weirdly accepting of the fact that I'm not just an atheist, but also a lesbian. And I have, like, actually, that side of the family is littered with LGBT folk. I mean, there's what, two other lesbians, and my cousin Adam just got married to his boyfriend, and they're totally okay with it. And I'm like, this is so weird. And so when people start telling these horror stories about being ostracized from their family and being so confused and all that stuff, I'm like, yeah, I kind of like, I almost feel embarrassed at how easy I had it. It's weird.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's you were very lucky to be raised in that kind of environment. Like I am okay, so some of the things that Austin like separate me from my family is not only am I an atheist, but I'm also liberal. My
And you have a
family is very
conservative family.
conservative. They are very iffy on LGBTQ issues. Like I have one cousin that recently came out, has a boyfriend. They come to our family events, but it's always kind of awkward because of some of the questions that get asked or some of the comments that get made. And so people don't really know how to react to me now because I'm very much in support of LGBTQ issues and liberal politics. So like they don't even know what kind of conversation to have with me. They'll be like, "Hey, did you see what the president?" No, I'm not going to talk to you because you hate the president.
I kind of have a similar thing with my like I had this weird flip flop for me. So when I was religious, it was my mom's side of the family that I got along with perfectly, and my dad's side of the family that I really didn't as much. But the strange thing happened when I started my channel. For a brief period of time, my relationship with my mom's side of the family was strained because they were the more religious side, and my relationship with my dad's side of the family actually improved. Like I hadn't spoken with my aunt in years, but since creating my channel, we actually had like a good 2 hour long conversation right before I did my my debate with Max on abortion on the Non Sequitur show. So it was like this weird thing happened where like I kind of flipped around, like the things that I don't like about some of the members of my dad's family, those things still stick. They didn't go away, but like the relationships themselves kind of improved on that side, and then got strained on the other side. Granted, all of my friendships from way back when, all like I got disowned by them because they were all from a Young Earth Creationist private school I was in. So obviously they are not fans of my channel and the things I have to say. But it's a very, I'm kind of in Bionic Dance's set where like it's awkward because the actual ostracization, the story isn't the same as like the family all ostracizing you and things getting awkward. It's just like things did this weird flip flop and got weird.
Yeah, like with me, I still have contact with most of my family. Like they haven't completely ostracized me, but I do notice things. Being a former minister, I was like the first person that anyone called if someone in the family was sick or injured or in the hospital. I don't get called anymore. Like I find out weeks later that my grandmother was in the hospital, or that someone fell and broke their leg. I kind of get it from third parties instead of family now, so it's a little annoying.
You know, it's hard to picture you as a preacher.
A lot of people say that, but yeah,
No, here's the thing. Did you just wear ordinary clothing, or did you have that little the collar?
Okay, so originally I wore like a suit and tie, and like regular kind of dress clothes. The closer to the end of it, I didn't really care what I wore, but yeah, I wore a lot of suit and ties, had my hair slicked back Pentecostal style, and no facial hair.
Pentecostal style. So did people speak in tongues over your hair to wet it?
No, like there is a Pentecostal hairdo. You got to go out there, like the guys. You got your hair, and it's like a pompadour. So like the Pentecostal pompadour. If you know
It's
what
like Max Headroom. It sounds like. You guys don't know Max Headroom.
Yes,
Never
I do.
mind.
I know Max Headroom.
Coming out. All right.
I know Max Headroom, but it like comes out a little bit and then up and then back. So you're like combing it and lots of hairspray, and Yeah, if you know how Jerry DeWitt still wears his hair, that's along the lines of a Pentecostal hairdo.
Yeah, it's funny, like you talk about the clothing is like suits and ties and stuff. I have no idea how to pronounce it, but there's some, it's like phobia or something, which is the fear of buttons. And you may have noticed in my videos, I'm always wearing t-shirts,
Yeah.
right? I cannot stand buttons. There's something about them that creeps me right the hell out. I just, ugh, I don't know what it is. And also collars.
So
If
would
the
you
collar
say that they
stands up,
push your
I'm
buttons?
okay with it. But if it does that sort of like triangle thing, it's creepy. And that I went looking to see if there was like a phobia of formal clothing, and I can't find it. But there's just something about formal clothing that creeps me out, and I don't know what it is.
I hated having to wear
Yeah, someone
dress
here in
clothes and ties.
Clade starfish. Yeah, I can't pronounce that. It looks like something Hawaiian.
Kunophobia.
Componophobia. Looks like that's how you
Okay,
pronounce that. Componophobia.
sure. Well, I hate it. Ugh, I'm just saying.
And Drag Worker asked, so there's no Ocean today. No, there's not going to be Ocean until December 2nd.
The
He's
tide has gone out.
Yes, the tide has gone out until December 2nd. He'll
See,
be
now I've got
returning
that
then.
Blondie song in my head. The tide is high.
Yeah.
The tide is high, but we're going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ocean will be returning on the 2nd. Iowan is my co-host today, and then my co-host for next Thursday is actually going to be Pam. And ideally, we'll be talking to Lady Unicorn during that one.
Or as we call Pam, Pamela Ding Dong.
You're the only one that calls her Pamela Ding Dong. Tides go in, tides go out. You can't explain that.
I can't.
It must be God.
I'm back to being a Christian.
Yeah.
It must be God. It must be.
But it's really weird because when I was a Pentecostal, facial hair, no, that was a no-go. And I like a year ago, I shaved it off, and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm 12." Like
Well,
my
it's like-
face shape completely changes when I shave this. It's like I do this orangutan thing where it gets flatter and bigger. It does not
Is it
look
just
good.
like the hair
Well, I don't
adds
know,
volume
like-
to your face?
A bunch of years ago, Aaron Raw did a video where he was like playing a preacher or something, and he shaved off the Genghis Khan Klingon beard. And
man.
it was one of the creepiest things I've ever seen. It did not, he looked like Penn from Penn and Teller.
If Aaron Raw does not have if he doesn't have his devil beard, because like when I think of Aaron now, I think of when Seth Andrews did his presentation on the Satanic Panic, and he has the picture of Aaron Raw dressed as the devil for that Satanic Panic presentation. I'm just like, that's how I imagine Aaron from now on. I can't imagine him any other way. That's bad.
To answer another question from the chat, it was so Pentecostals and people from New Jersey are responsible for the ozone hole? Yes, because every Sunday, almost an entire can
aerosol.
of Aquanet.
Well, one thing I've often wondered, like from theists, is if God is so perfect and his message is perfect, why are there so many denominations of Christianity? Why do so many people think that the other Christians have it wrong? I don't get it.
I do have to say that we do have Theo Wolf said an atheist returning to theism during an atheist live stream is a special kind of fail. Thanks, Iowan.
No, so basically, it's every denomination that you go into believes that all the other denominations before it messed up the message of the Bible. And so through some kind of either revelation or just studying of the scriptures, they've found the true and perfect message, and they're the only denomination that has it.
I mean, it's weird, like people actually kill each other over that shit. Like there was the whole Protestant versus Catholic thing that was happening in like Ireland
Yeah.
and all of that.
Oh yeah, the weirdest thing is
I keep messing that up. Like some days I think it's Ireland, some days I think it's Scotland, and I know it's not one of those, but my brain will not keep
it's
it
Ireland.
straight.
Yeah. But it was really weird because as a Pentecostal, there are two branches of Pentecostalism, two main ones.
snake handling and not snake handling.
Well, no. There's also the weird snake handling ones, but there's oneness Pentecostals, which are non-Trinitarian, and there's Trinitarian Pentecostals, and those two groups absolutely hate each other. When I was a Pentecostal, I was Trinitarian, and the worst thing that you could be was a oneness Pentecostal. Then it was a Catholic, and then it was an atheist, in that order.
Like, that's just bad.
I know, and it's like all the other beliefs were the same except for how they defined God's personhood.
It's like, at that point, you're just arguing over somebody else's identity, and that's where you have a disagreement.
Yes.
I can just imagine, like, so if Christianity turned out to be real, right, and both a oneness Pentecostal and a Trinitarian Pentecostal died, they both go to heaven. Like, they both go because their beliefs are, close enough aligned. And then they ask God, which one is it? And God just goes, neither, and slaps them both and says, get in the fucking holy gates.
Oh, well, that's one of the big things I pointed out in my last Paul and Morgan video that I did is Paul and Morgan don't believe that Christians who support LGBTQ are real Christians. And the Christians that support LGBTQ would not believe that Paul and Morgan are real Christians. But if you went back to the first century and actually looked at what those Christians were doing, there's not a single Christian in this century that would be a real Christian to those people.
Well, then you've got people that say that Jesus would have been a capitalist, and I'm like, but he literally did nothing but socialism.
Yeah.
Like, the redistribution of wealth, getting rid of your excess. Like, he literally just had socialist and pseudo-communist leanings. Nothing about what Jesus did was capitalist.
It's literally the love of money is the root of all evil is in the Bible.
Nah, the root of all evil is the continued mortal existence of William Shatner.
Now, what are you talking about?
Don't make me come over there.
I mean, hey, I went to This sentence.
How long is it going to take you to make shepherd's pie?
It takes about 40 minutes.
Great.
Shepherd's pie is delicious.
Okay, then I'll be ending
When
here
will
in
we
5
eat
minutes, and we'll be
the
good.
shepherd's pie?
Okay. So with that said, I am going to have to hop off to make my part of Thanksgiving dinner here in about 5 minutes. A little less, more than likely. So if there's any other questions from the live chat, I know that Kamal was looking for some more support. We are here for you if you need it. I know.
Well,
that
Actually, you're there for Kamal. I'm here.
And I'm here.
Okay, fair. I'm there for you. There we go.
The two of us are here.
for
for
you.
you.
Now I have the Friends theme song in my head.
We'll be there for you. My personal email is in my description as always, so if you need to contact me, that's one method. And then I know Godless Iowan and Bionic Dance, I'm going to have their channels linked in here as well if you want to send them stuff as well.
Oh, yeah,
So-
you can always reach me at thegodlessiowan@gmail.com if you want to reach out that way.
I mean, it's funny how many people have to ask me for my email address. It's like, duh, Bionic Dance. But yeah.
Well, it's like I didn't realize that Aaron Raw, like, his email's, like, isn't it just like aaronraw@gmail.com? And I'm like, that's what it was! The whole time? Okay.
So Notcha said, because there's a lot of people with a lot of crazy ideas, like seeing visions or desiring to control and be a leader, power, now retaining and still creating power. Yeah, so that's, I mean, when you're in a group where someone else has the power, then you go, oh, wait, I saw Jesus, and he told me to take the power and create my own group.
Well,
Yeah.
I actually saw some visions once. I had to drop LSD to do it, but
I mean, that's what you'd have to do to get them sometimes. I actually had an ex whose mom was thoroughly convinced that she was Christian. She said she was thoroughly convinced that black magic existed because she saw a man.
that's racist.
Oh my god. She saw a man transform into a panther in front of her very eyes, but she also admitted she was incredibly high during that. So it's like, Are you sure that transformation just didn't happen in your head because you were high? Are you
Well,
sure?
That's like I said, I was sure at one point in my life that Bigfoot chased me. But it was more than likely the fact that I was drunk, sleep deprived, and also taking notos at the exact same time.
Well,
Um,
and
Yep.
goodness knows there's religious groups out there where they think that the way to get in touch with the spiritual world is to get
I'll
high.
work on the mac and cheese.
yeah.
I'll see what we can do.
Oh yeah, there are.
Because I'm pretty sure I just boiled the noodles, which are just shells that we have in the cabinet.
Yeah. Actually, so like people in the chat are mentioning LSD, I suppose, because I mentioned it. One of the best things you can ever do if you drop acid, turn off all the lights and then put on Tron. Trust me, Tron on acid is, no pun intended, a trip.
A second would be The Wall by Pink Floyd.
I have never done acid, and the reason why is because I was offered acid and I decided to wait and see how it affected my friend. And he ended up curled in a corner believing that Spider-Man jumped out of a comic book trying to kill him. And I was like, yeah, I'm not good with that.
I've never actually taken any drugs or alcohol, but I did have a lot of friends in high school who did both a lot. So needless to say, when I discovered Pink Floyd's The Wall, they were like, oh, you have to try it like this. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to. But I did watch it 5 times because that movie's fascinating.
Well, there are some really, really creepy parts of that movie. It's like,
The
I'm trying to
trial.
remember exactly what, like there were these people that looked like they were wearing the Tusken Raider like thing from Star Wars. And it was just really creepy. They're just sort of walking silently, and I was like, nah, nah, I want nothing to do with this.
And it's because it's supposed to be a portrayal of what's going on in the main character's head as he's punishing himself for being a horrible person. So, like, all those horrible visions you're seeing are the horrible visions in his mind.
Well, it probably doesn't help that I don't like their music very much.
No, that
Wow.
probably doesn't.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
Theo Wolf says, is it me, or do we never see Bionic Dance actually dance?
Well, I can dance if I want to.
And she can leave your friends behind.
And since she does dance, if we don't dance, then we're no friends of hers.
Exactly. I know I've explained it many times before where the name Bionic Dance came from, but let's do it one more time. If you see the wall scroll behind me that says Bionic 6, right? That was my favorite TV show back in the 80s. And whenever they would activate their bionic powers, they couldn't just go click with the ring into the wrist thingy. They had to do this like anime style whooshing, swirling thing and shout Bionics on, and then they would transform. And I was like, they're doing the bionic dance. Now,
Why are you feeding me bacon?
I figured, yeah, I don't need to tell the rest of the story. You guys get it, and we're watching Bacon, so.
God, I just had bacon shoved in my mouth.
We saw. Everyone saw.
I miss Bacon.
There are times where I sit here going, how does he have twice as many subs as me?
For those who
that
don't
is
know,
it.
I like for the last 9-10 years, I was having like nasty seizures, and they just did brain surgery. But I went and had an appointment with my neurologist, and he said, while it seems to be corrected, I have to wait another 6 fucking months before I can start trying to eat the food again that would trigger the seizures. And bacon is on that list. I haven't had bacon for a decade. It's surprising I haven't gone in frickin' sane.
Damn.
With that said, everybody, I am going to have to hop off to make my part of Thanksgiving dinner incredibly late. Now that I've had bacon shoved in my mouth, I think the metaphor is that if I don't shut up, then I'm going to have more meat shoved in my mouth.
And really, what is a metaphor anyway?
Well, it's for being competitive in video gaming.
Yeah. Anyway.
There. The joke was bad to begin with, so we made it multi-layered bad.
It was awful.
Oh, yes. Well, thank you guys for coming out.
I've been out for years.
Godless Iowan and Kate's channel, Bionic Dance, are both linked in the description below. If you don't see them there, then please refresh the page. They will be there, I promise. Go ahead and subscribe to them both if you haven't already. And if YouTube is listening to this, if Godless Iowan is still not monetized in the next month, are we gonna like spam their Twitter or something? Like I don't know.
We should. I mean, it should just be spammed. Monetize Godless Iowan at Team YouTube. Monetize me now.
Yeah.
I need food.
You need foods. All right. Well, thank you guys for coming out, especially on the more shorter notice. It was only like a couple days where we actually got this set up, so thank you for that. Thank you everybody who came out and watched, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the less structured show for Thanksgiving, and I hope you guys did have a wonderful Thanksgiving. So thank you guys very much.
Don't get run over.
Thank you.
Yeah, please don't get ran over. Pancakes are only good when they're not covered in human blood meats.
Don't drink.